Hello friends, neighbors, John your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook. Saturday, so we're gonna shoot a sample or a tasting together and we're gonna talk some Lowland Scotch. I have not had enough Lowland Scotch to really be someone who can pick that out of a lineup, but I've got a little bit today and it is a new distillery for the Alberta region. This bottle, Kingsbarns, I think is part of kind of a launch party or a release over the next week. This Balcomie from Kingsbarns just came into the Alberta market, and I want to say right up front, a huge thank you to Travis from PWS Imports. This bottle came my way right from him, and I also want to disclose that to you guys right away. So I didn't pay for this bottle. That's very unusual. It's happened a few times, and I'm so thankful for when it does. But I want to be really, really clear. Of course, just my opinion on this release. If you have any Kingsbarns, or I would say, some lightly sherried scotch of any kind, why don't you pour a dram, and when we come back, I'll nose and taste this Balcomie release, and then I'll compare it to the only other Lowland I currently have on the rack, which is Glenkinchie, which is quite different than this. Either way, pour a little scotch. When you come back, we'll talk Kingsbarns, Balcomie. 3, 4. Well, thanks for coming back. As I was saying on the opener, we're going to talk this new release, Balcomie from Kingsbarns. Now, it's new to my area. I think it was out at least a year, if not more, in the UK. So this Balcomie, if I'm saying it right, has spent its whole life in ex-sherry cask, American oak. And what I read from other reviewers is that it's Solera cask. Now, this is released at 46%. And it says, right here on the band, it's natural color, non-chill filtered. But it doesn't give us an age stamp. So I really don't know how old it is. When I was reading some other, history and reviews, I got that it was a 5-year-old when it came out in 2021. So they might, just be releasing older and older batches, but I don't know. But when I was reading those other notes, I didn't see it on their website. That's when I found out it was from Solera cask. Solera cask concepts were really cool. That's where, they would drain out some of the sherry, but not all the sherry, and then they'd put in more sherry, and it creates this aging, older sherry that's always part of that barrel, which is kind of cool. And then I guess they dumped it and then aged this scotch entirely in that ex-Solera, ex-Oloroso American oak casks. Well, I'll talk a bit more about what I know about Kingsbarns, which isn't that much, but let's first talk whiskey. So we'll do nose and taste on Balcomie. At first I get a sweetness, a honeyed, sweet, orchard fruit. But if I come back to it, I get a little bit of souring, maybe some light lemon, maybe what would be a slightly soured cherry, like a soured fruit, not like off-putting soured. I'm just saying now it's pulling my cheeks in a little bit. A bit of oak, light toffee, and some red fruits kind of on the end. Again, a little bit of dried fruiting, not quite leathered, but just some dried currants, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. Some dried red fruits. All right, let's try it on the palate. Sancha. So up front, more sweetness, more sugared fruits. And then it kind of, just before the swallow or the we're getting to the finish, a little bit of bittering, not off-putting, but a little bit of astringency, and then a little bit of peppering, some white pepper, maybe even a bit of cinnamon. Now early finished, I'm getting oak. I'm actually getting some red fruits coming back on the finish. I guess a little bit of berries, but maybe like a strawberry, but more like a jammed strawberry, not a fresh strawberry. All right, another sip. Okay. There, I'd say darker sugars, some caramel, some cooked down sugars. Again, a bit more jam now. So it's not like this is a full sherry dram in the sense that it's aged, it's lived its whole life in ex-sherry cask, but it's not a sherry bomb. Like that's the first thing. Instead, it's nice fruit character, and then some of that sherry comes through, and even some of the oaking and the slight bitterness on the end, I would associate with sherry cask, but not a sherry bomb by any means. It's distillate forward still. And there kind of bites along my tongue a little bit. It is a bit youthful, and by that I mean just spirit driven, a little bitey, a little bit astringent. It's got some youth. Now, it's got flavor as well. So it's really tough for me. Well, partly because this was gifted to me, and I love every whiskey that's gifted to me. But I'm trying to get a sense of what do I like in this, and it's nose intrigues me, and the palate. I had a couple of sips here now. It's starting to get there, and I'm not far into this, but I have had it opened a little bit because I wanted to try to get to know the character. When I first tried it, that astringency was pretty strong. It's already a little more relaxed, and I can get behind it, and I'm getting more flavors from it. It's got a little oil characteristic, a little dirtiness to it, which I kind of like. But the nose is sweet and light and soft, and I'm not sure if that's age. So if we see it a little bit older, if some of the biting character will kind of relax and let the secondary. And I just got a little bit of flavor of chocolate. Not a lot, but a little bit of chocolate. And a little bit of I always call it nut husk. It's like at Christmas you're cracking open whatever nuts, and it's like that paper on a walnut. It's not papery, but it's just that little bit of nut characteristic, which I like. I'm gonna give Balcomie. I think it's got a lot of promise. Love the nose. Maybe about 3.5 stars, and it's going to get better, I think. I haven't had it open that long. So I was checking the shelves for what Lowland I had. I was sure I had an Auchentoshan or an Auchentoshan 3-wood, which would be a better comparison. I don't. I do have a little bit of this Glenkinchie 12-year-old. Glenkinchie is a 43% single malt, and it is a Lowland Scotch. It's only ex-bourbon, of course, and it's likely colored and chill filtered. So not exactly a direct comparison with Kingsbarns Balcomie for sure. And where this is a tiny, what do they say? They're putting away, I should say, you should check out Lost in Translation. They talked to Peter Holroyd, I believe, is the master distiller, and he walked through the creation of Kingsbarns. Cool story. I think it was a caddy at Kingsbarns. It was like, there should be a distillery we can take people back to or celebrate, and that was kind of the impetus of the idea. Then they went to the Weems family, and I've reviewed Pete Chimney, Spice King. I don't think I've done the Hive. A family that's done independent Scotch and independent bottling and blending for a while. Anyways, what I'm getting at is Lost in Translation. Talk to Peter Holroyd about all of that stuff, and you should check them out. Small place, 35 barrels a year. That's too small, but anyway, smaller. Whereas Glenkinchie, of course, is a part of the large evil conglomerate, but it's an interesting comparison nonetheless. Let's try Glenkinchie 12, nose and taste. Oh, that's very different from the Balcomie. This is lemon, lemongrass, sweet, honey like toffee, golden delicious apple. And in contrast, this now has more sherry in it, more fruits, that strawberry I was talking about. Yeah, even perfumey, which I wouldn't say is a characteristic of Lowland compared to the Glenkinchie. Yeah, this is malty, light lemon. Let's give it a taste. Sláinte. Has much gentler on the palate and more than just 3% ABV. It's almost like creamy, malty, graham cracker, ginger. Fruits again are orchard. Toffee, did I say that? Try another sip. Cleaner on arrival and departure. And the finish is where I find and get a little bit of character, a little bit of, I shouldn't say character, a little bit of oak. Yeah, so it's a far more refined dram. And gentler and easier if you're just getting into Scotch. I would say this is relaxed, honeyed, graham crackered, lemon, like it's nice, lemon tart flavor type, easy to enjoy, relaxed. Whereas this Balcomie has stronger flavors. It is fruitier on the nose, floral almost in comparison here. But the palate is a little bit bitey. It kind of kicks you around a little bit. Finish is good, better oaks, stronger, clearer oaks. So more flavors here. Needs a little time, I think, to settle out where those flavors are. Either way, great experience. So that's some thoughts on a couple of Lowlands. Balcomie in my market's brand new, so I wish them luck. And if you've had a little bit of Balcomie, why don't you share? What are your thoughts? Like, do you like it? Do you find it youthful like me, or like, hey, this is a really good dram, and you've already queued up a couple of purchases? Let me know. It's always good to know. And if you want to share thoughts about Glenkinchie too as a comparison, or even Lowland style in general, what do you usually find in Lowland? What's like when you think Lowland Scotch? What are the first few words that you share with friends? Thanks for coming down. Thanks for having a dram with me. I hope you guys have a great weekend.